Yeah, as Scott said there, right now I'm the VP of Exploration and Director on Core Assets. And we're looking at two different deposit types here, a porphyry and a CRD type project. So I'm going to go over what these things mean shortly. Should be aware that exploration can have restrictions this year due to COVID, but everything so far for us is in line, and we're good to go. Got over 100 years of technical and marketing experience between all of us, including myself, Scott, and Dave. Our share structure right now is about 22.2 million outstanding, and fully diluted about 24 million. So this is a quick overview here now, a high-level overview of the property. We're in Atlin Mining District, which is an area that's had mining for hundreds of years. Very well-known camp. We're down at the southwest corner of Atlin Lake. Our property size is quite substantial, about 158 square kilometers. So we have district scale size property here. Everything is consolidated in our area. So we have everything covered that we need, and we're also fully permitted for drilling this year. So the approach we want to take here is looking at size potential and looking at neighbors and type and district scale structures. So if you look here at the yellow diamond here, this is our property, and it's located along what's called the Llewelyn Fault Zone, and this is a very large structure. It's about 240 kilometers from the Alaska border to the Yukon border, and this fault system is actually associated with secondary, tertiary, quaternary structures that run all the way down through very major world-class discoveries in BC. So it has that in common. And just on the left here, I have some examples of these types of deposits, like the Red Chris, that's a porphyry style project. Bruce Jack, Tritium owns that. KSM is a Seabridge project. And then I guess the most recent here is GT Gold's project, which GT Gold got bought out today by Newmont for $456 million. So there's a lot of activity in this area is basically the take-home point. So when we're looking again at this regional look, we want to check a few boxes here. We want to spend some money. So first box you want to tick is that you're constrained to the western margins of the Pacific Ocean. This is basically subduction zone, mountain building area. And this is where you're finding these giant copper deposits all the way from the tip of North America to the southern tip of South America. We're also in the same age rocks as these types of environments. And we also have the right flavors of alteration present on our property, on the superficial bedrock. So now what I want to do is I just want to briefly, I want to get a little more localized here and talk about what a CRD type deposit means. So CRD stands for carbonate replacement. So what that means basically is it needs to be hosted in limestone or dolomite. And these rocks are formed at very high temperatures. They're epigenetic, so that means that mineralization is younger than the host rocks. So the mineralization occurs after. And they're very sulfide rich and polymetallic. You usually get silver, lead, zinc, copper, gold. They're dominated by replacement, the replacement being the silver, copper, gold. They have continuous mineralization. So if you can find these pods at surface, which is relatively rare, you can trace them by drilling right back to a larger source. So on our property, we do have outcropping at surface. And like I said, yeah, they're continuous. So you can follow all back to the source. And then once you get back to the source, that's where you're looking at more porphyry potential. So your CRD would be more high grade, low tonnage. And then your porphyry potential would be more low grade, high tonnage. So it's the best of both worlds here on this property. And again, back to how this is formed. Basically, we're looking at if you have non-reactive rocks, the metals will not accumulate. But if you have calcium-rich rocks like limestone, then you have the potential to do so. So if you picture vinegar going into baking soda, vinegar would be your ore fluid, baking soda would be limestone, and that interaction between the two creates a neutralization reaction, and then that contact forms these scab-like bodies that we're seeing at surface. And these are basically called chimneys. And if you can tap into them, like I said, you can follow them back to the source. So CRD is high grade, low tonnage. Porphyry is your lower grade, higher tonnage, and we have the potential for both. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look into two of the main showings that are on our property. The Labrador Target is to the northeast, and that one has very high grade copper in magnetite. And it has one drill hole that's up there, and it's about 175 meters of 0.27 copper. So pretty promising, and we're showing the right alteration. And of course, this hole ended in a heavily mineralized skarn area. And of course, we have a little bit of silver in here and gold as well. This is a picture of myself in an old mine adit there, taking some chip samples in the massive sulfide here on the sides. So now we're going to go back to the carbonate replacement type, CRD. So that's the high grade, low tonnage scenario. So at surface, this is 10 kilometers to the southwest of the Labrador. We're finding these manto zinc lead silver skarns with huge values, like 85 ounce per ton silver. So that would be bonanza grade. It's equivalent to about $2,400 US per ton material. So you're talking high grade here. And we're finding these things all over the place. There's over 50 that I mapped myself, and I saw more from helicopter. There's a ton of them on the property. So it's very promising for this CRD type. And again, this is your limestone that I was talking about, like your baking soda, and this would be your vinegar, which comes up through. It's your ore-rich fluid that's eating away at this basic rock. So when you take a major approach, when I say major, I mean a major company approach, when you want to spend money on an exploration project, you want to look at exploration criteria. So a company like Mag Silver, when they go after these types of deposits, they only look at first to check 3 boxes. They look at location, geological location is what that means. So it needs to be near other known deposits with the same structures. So we check that box right away. And then it's location actually in the ground. So where are you in the carbonate section? And we need room for this system to grow. So we're finding this stuff at surface. So I'm pretty confident at this point that there is much room to grow in this limestone unit, because the limestone unit is kilometers long. And then of course you need to have very high grade silver. And this is where it separates what's called a Mississippi Valley type deposit versus a CRD. If you get over 400 grams per ton in these pods, you're into the CRD, and that's where we want to be. And then the rest of these points here are just accessory, but I think from my field observations that I can check all these boxes right now, but we need to do a little more work here to fully validate these. So here's a comparison model. Now I mentioned the Labrador prospect, which is to the northeast here. That would be the copper dominant magnetite skarn. And we have 10 kilometers to the south here, southwest, and this is where we're getting these Hollywood silver numbers. And obviously we have great high lead and zinc as well. Remember, these are polymetallic deposits. We also have these large sutures coming down through here, and then we have the large Llewelyn Fault Zone here. So this is the residual mag map for the property. And to our right here, we have a schematic model of a very large porphyry manto CRD skarn district scale deposit, which is in Utah. And that project actually had 17 million tons of copper, 23 million ounces gold, 190 million ounces silver, and 858 million pounds molybdenum. So this is a giant, of course. And the model that they follow on here is very interesting. It's called the hub and spoke model. So essentially the hub is your porphyry copper zone in the middle. So that's our large tonnage, low grade. And then the spokes are where you're getting these chimneys. And that's why you see these higher grade skarns that come out. So skarns are basically a vector to find these porphyry centers. And then as a whole, you can, it really ups your mining profitability at the end of the day when you can mix your high grade with low grade ore. So this image actually very closely replicates what we're looking at here. But if you notice the size, the porphyry copper size here is only 1.5 kilometers. And right here, our mag high is we have about 10 kilometers, so it'd be about 7 kilometers here in diameter. So we have the potential here for a big system. It's just underexplored at this point. So we're going to try to pave the road to discovery here. This is me at the CRD, the silver lime area. And then you can see, again, this is these massive sulfide pods with the 85 ounce silver. coming up, outcropping here, and there's more of them. You can see up to the this would be to the southwest here in this Gossan area. And so with these deposits, you're looking 10 to 150 million tons, and we're looking high grade, 150 to 1,500 gram per ton silver. That's exactly what you want. You're getting high grade zinc, lead, and you're also getting that copper credit and gold as well. They're very low mining costs because they're generally underground, metallurgically understood, and they're a minimal environmental footprint because they're underground as well. And then, of course, once we track this thing, we can track this thing for kilometers and back to the system of a porphyry. And then we're in a lower grade, higher tonnage system then. So that's our bonus here on this one. This is our proposed budget. So we're going to be flying a geophysical survey here in the next 30 days. And it's going to be a V10 survey, which Geotech does, 900 line kilometers. This should help us further delineate some of our drill hole placing that we have there, which we're fully permitted here. One of the things we like to do early here is mitigate risk as much as possible. So we went ahead and permitted it around the showings that we know of so far. And of course, we can move these drill holes as needed after we refine our targets with this geophysical survey. So that the geophysical survey is the next 30 days, and then the comp work will take place shortly after. And in summer, we will begin to do these exploratory holes. Just wanted to bring attention for other CRDs in the world and how they got taken over and whatnot. So this Arizona mining project was a CRD, and a company called South 32 bought that for $1.8 billion Canadian. JDS Silvertip, that one's over to the east of ours. This is in BC. Core Mining bought that for $250 million. Again, CRD type. We have the Industrial Minera Mexico. This is one of the longest lasting production mines in the world. It went for over 300 years. Again, this is a CRD with a porphyry. And then Mag Silver has an exploration project right now called Deer Trail, which is very similar. Again, it's a CRD, and their market cap is $2.5 billion. So these things are worth looking into. Our catalysts, as I already mentioned, we're in the right area to make the discovery. We got polymetallics here to take in account for changing metal prices, and our deposit model is very well understood. We've got the V10 survey coming up here, which is going to be, this is a state-of-the-art technology, tight spacing, and we're going to be able to see where these massive sulfide pods go. We got money in the bank, tight share structure, good technical team, and strong marketing, community relations, and we're going to be drilling summer to fall 2021. If you have any other questions regarding technical stuff, you can email me at nrod@zintu.com, and then anything market related, you can contact Scott Rose. And all of our information is here on the deck, and it's also on our website. Thank you.